Yeah. In your house with O'Con. Hey, O'Con in your house. Hollywood in your house. Hypocrisy's head in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Josh Joseph standing on his decisions. He is the voice. There is no choice. We is them boys in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast, it's like cruiserweight action. In your house is the perfect distraction. Pumpers in your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action. Swole. What's up, guys? What's cracking? Hollywood Howse in your house. We are back. We're ready to make a movie. I hope you guys are ready to make a movie. I hope you guys are with the shits, because we're with the shits. Because we're ready to talk a little wrestling. That is right. In Your House is back, and you already know them vibes. Anytime we slide on through, we're here to give you that work when it comes to professional wrestling. And guys, it is Sunday, and it is a Sunday after a huge event, the Royal Rumble. And you guys know, if you guys are longtime listeners of this podcast, you know that's my favorite pay-per-view. I love it. It's great. And we're definitely going to talk about it. And of course, there's a whole lot more to talk about. Heavy news week. In this week, I mean, we're talking TV deals. We're talking about sexual allegations. We're talking about new Royal Rumble winners. We're talking about In Your House. And anytime that I bring my show back, I got to have my team with me. And of course, that means I got to have my co-host here. And that is Hypocrisy Jones. How's it going, brother, man?
Yo, what up? What up, my homie? What up? It's been a crazy week, man. This full moon didn't cause so much stuff. McAfee done popped up in the Royal Rumble. Vince McMahon might be defecating on people. Like Cody Rhodes is a two-time winner. I don't know what is going on. And look, shout out to Bailey and Jay.
Yeah, word up, man. Like I said, it's just a news heavy week, man. News heavy week. And man, when we have shows like this, we always got to make sure that we're bringing in the big guns, guys. We're on the cusp of 300 episodes, guys. I just got to throw that out there because that 300th episode, we're going to be trying to put something real special together for you guys. So you guys will hear about that when we get a little bit closer to that time. But we got to worry about right now. We got to worry about the Royal Rumble. We got to worry about TV deals, streaming deals, sexual allegations, things going on, so much things going on in wrestling. And when we have that much to talk about, we got to bring in somebody who knows the know. And this man knows the know. He is the world's most dangerous podcaster, international professional wrestler, and Emerge world heavyweight champion, Paragon. Welcome back, bro.
That's my friend.
I'm glad to be back. A lot has been going on since I was gone, which is why I was gone. But hey, like Raquel Rodriguez doing a pose in their entire gimmick, I'm back. Spinal. So.
What is that weird back thing she do? I don't get it.
You know what it is? You remember SpongeBob? I am Pat back. That's what it is.
Oh man, P, great to have you back, man. It's great to have you back, bro.
And I'm glad to be back. You know what? Let's get into some business, man, because a lot has been going on with the state of wrestling.
Yeah, so you're not lying, brother. You're not lying. So of course
it's big.
It's all kinds of big stuff, man. And you would think that with the Royal Rumble being last night, it would be the biggest thing that we'd have to talk about, which it is a huge thing. We're definitely going to talk about the Royal Rumble. A lot of exciting stuff, a lot of things to talk about. We're going to break that down on this Super Sunday episode of In Your House. It's going to be a movie, but we have to talk about this. We have to talk about what's in the news. I mean, so many news outlets are following it. I'm getting notifications on my phone. I got people coming up to me at my damn shoot job, coming to me like, "Oh, are you hearing about this? What you think about that?" And of course, guys, this is the elephant in the room. That is Vince McMahon and all these heavy allegations against him. And man, this is a lot to take in. It is. But if you're But if you're a long time follower, and this is what I've been telling people. If you're a long time follower of professional wrestling, a long time follower of the WWE, this is not that shocking. None of it is that shocking. But when you're from the outside looking in and people look at you like, hey, that's him. That's the wrestling guy. We talked about a little bit about this before the show. That's the wrestling guy. I have to go to him and tell him this wrestling thing because I know he's either going to have already heard it or he's going to be interested to hear it. So that's how it is. So I got people coming up to me. Oh, you hearing about this stuff with Vince McMahon and everything going on? Hype. I know you've had like a pretty crazy week yourself, man, but I know you've been kind of following it and then the crazy week that's going on in professional wrestling. What are you thinking when you're seeing these notifications pop up and things of that nature about Vince and what he's got going on?
First of all, I feel so weird sometimes as a non-wrestler, like people coming up to me like constantly and talking to me about wrestling stuff, and I'm in a weird position because like I get local wrestling stuff and then I get national wrestling stuff. Like you said, people know me as the wrestling guy kind of, and like that's just, you know, people don't even know my real name, and like they'll just be like wrestling guy, right? And like it's stuff, but like in a week where like we've had all of this going on, it's the craziest thing. Like I really didn't know that like Vince McMahon and R. Kelly and P. Diddy were tight like that, to be honest. Like, that's just like I don't understand like what all was like I didn't understand the correlation of that, but like I will tell you this, like if people come up to me and they're like Vince McMahon did some I'm gonna be like, yeah. I mean I can't not see it, man. He kidnapped his own daughter on television. He's like you know, he's covered up murders, he's done some foul shit, so I can't be like, nah, he probably didn't do that, because he probably
like it's, here's the thing, bro, like it could be like super far-fetched, it could be something crazy far-fetched, and I know P, he's the improv guy. He'll probably come up with the most random scenario, and if he says that, I'll be like, yeah, I can see Vince doing that. Like, you ain't gonna even give it a second. You're like, yeah, Vince might do some stuff like that. There's no scenario. There's no
y'all
scenario.
Hear Vince McMahon put somebody's head inside of an elephant's anal cavity? It's like, well, that's probably some shit he did.
They paid him $200,000 to do it too.
Yeah,
like,
why did he do it?
That sounds like some Vince McMahon shit. Right?
I'm like, Vince would,
it's wrong.
Vince could do
he
it.
Shouldn't do that, but he hangs out with that redheaded dude that used to run our country, and I don't want to get into that, but like I'm just saying, like
man, there's nothing you could tell me that this man could do, and I'd be like, nah, Vince wouldn't do it. No, he would do it. I mean, and he's just that type of cat. Like, and I've said it on the show for years. You think I just say it in jest that when I say it, but it's like, and it's almost like I'm so used to saying it because I'm that's bad. Damn, that's bad. I'm desensitized to the shit that he does. So I'm just like, Vince is a wild cat. And that's just how I internalize that, by saying Vince is a wild cat. But nah, dog, Vince is a wild cat. Like, he's really a wild dude. So like, he really, you know, what's what, bro. You know what's what, bro. So like, what you thinking when you seeing all this?
First of all, y'all talk about like in the public eye. There's this video that's been going around, and they've been using it a lot towards Vince McMahon, as well as Nicki Minaj recently with the whole music stuff. And it's this video. It's like, they got your man for sexual assault charges, and that's your man. That's your guy out here sexually assaulting people, and that's your man. No. I'm like, that's not my man. Like, that's not my dog.
No. Who mans is this? No, that's not my. No.
I heard y'all grew up together.
No. I don't even like mans no more. I just saw it.
So it's like, when this stuff goes on, and like my buddy and I were talking about this last night, because he was like, Triple H is saying that you're on the precipice of something big happening. The next wave, the thing that might make wrestling pop culture again. You know, we're almost like that Attitude Era feel. And I'm like, but you have to remember, the Attitude Era is what killed wrestling from being pop culture.
Yeah.
Much as people want to love it, remember it fondly, the Attitude Era killed pop culture wrestling. And right now, if we're on this precipice of getting back to the mainstream, shit like this hurts that, because there already is this issue of when you say professional wrestling, they say WWF, they don't say WWE. When you say professional wrestling, they think middle fingers and crotch chops and blood sacrifices to the devil and somebody with pimps and hoes. They think of the Attitude Era. And so when you're hearing your man on them sexual assault charges, and that was your guy, that was your man's. It aids to that hurt of how professional wrestling is perceived to the masses. And I'm first of all, because of the type of person Vince McMahon is, I'm not going to do my normal caveat of innocence versus guilty, or until we know this allegedly. I'm going to say these allegations, due to these allegations that are being put out there, no matter what, you're going to affect the business as a whole. Not only are you going to affect the business as a whole, but you put yourself in a situation where there's no way to avoid it. All you can do is try to grow beyond it. Otherwise, we're going to be in the state where wrestling just keeps hurting itself. Like, I was thinking about this Netflix deal, and I know we're going to talk about that here soon. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking how this Netflix deal could help wrestling as a whole. It could help get eyes back on indie wrestling. It could help potentially recreate the damn territories, because people are going to get wrestling back in the mainstream, and you're going to start seeing indie wrestlers have their envelopes get thicker again, because more people are going to start coming to wrestling in droves. And the issue we're running into is when stuff like this happens, it can counteract the positivity in wrestling and create this domino effect of, this is why we stopped being fans. This is why we stopped letting our kids watch it. I mean, hell, y'all have seen and his name is John Cena video. Everyone laughs about that video. People don't pay attention to the wrestling's no longer allowed in this house.
Yeah.
Something happened. Whether it was that they were doing moves that they had no business doing and somebody got hurt, or recreating something that was inappropriate, or something inappropriate happened. And that lady was so against wrestling being in her home. If we're going to get back to pop culture, we have to make it that wrestling is welcome back in people's homes. And you don't want to welcome something that is so tied to such negative and taboo and triggering things.
Yep. We talked a little bit about that in the words that are being used, the specific terminology of the allegations that are tied to Vince McMahon. It's in this day and age, those words are damning words, and I'm not like, it doesn't matter as far as like if you're sensitive or this, that. I'm just keeping it real. When people hear those specific words that are being tied to Vince McMahon, it's a triggering, buzzy type of word now in this day and age.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and you hit the nail on the head. Like, first and foremost, like, wrestling is one of these weird like genres of things. Either you like it or you don't like it, and there's reasons why you don't like it, and there's reasons why you like it. But when you try to seep that into like the mainstream and try to sell that wrestling is for everyone,
right?
Then people are very, very immediately going to be like, but what about that? I don't like that. And I don't like that. And I don't like that. That's okay. But like, I don't know about that. You know what I mean? And like, I think wrestling is for everyone, but sometimes you have to understand that, like, you have to find what part of wrestling is for you. If I'm going to keep it 100, like, I love wrestling, right? But sometimes my favorite part of wrestling isn't even the wrestling. It's literally everything else. It's how we got.
Why are we here? How did we get here?
Yeah. How did we give these two people the motivation to be like, all right, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And then we put that all together. It's how did we get this big group of people together to put this one big thing together? Like, it's the whole totality of the thing for me sometimes. And I think sometimes I get blinded in that, even though, like, I think that's a large scope to look at wrestling in. but I have my own blinders on it, because I'm like, because still wrestling is not for everyone, because maybe you had a sibling that put wrestling moves on you when you were little, and you're like, no, I don't like that anymore, and I don't understand why like that happened. Or maybe you're the teacher that like constantly got crotch chopped, and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with these kids?
Yeah, it's niche, man. It's definitely one of those esoteric type of things where it's like not everybody knows. Like we could sit up here all the time and yeet at each other, and everybody could be like, Jey Uso, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we get it. Like, no yeet, Jimmy Uso, you know what I'm saying? We could do all these things that only wrestling fans will get. But if we did it to people that didn't understand, we'd be like, what the hell's wrong with what is this?
You know what I think the problem though is, you said it's niche. It didn't used to be niche. It used to be pop culture. Now that it is niche, I think until we get back to pop culture, I don't think wrestling should be for everybody. And what I mean by that is, one of the issues with wrestling is gatekeeping. And I feel like gatekeeping is only wrong when you don't do it properly. I don't need you gatekeeping some woman who decided she liked wrestling, and you're like, name your the top 5 6-star matches in wrestling.
Right.
To watch New Japan. Like, I believe it was it like Topanga or somebody? There was a female, Sofia Vergara. That's who it was. Sofia Vergara went to a wrestling show, and there was other people too, but they went to a wrestling show or they watched wrestling and they loved it and they tweeted about it, and they have not tweeted about it ever since, because wrestling fans pretty much made them go, fuck wrestling. We don't need that gatekeeping. Man. No, we don't need that type of gatekeeping. The type of gatekeeping that we need is the no predators, no assaulters, no isms or no phobes. Like, that's what we need. Gatekeep from those motherfuckers being in my business. I don't need you as a fan if you're a racist or a sexist or a rapist or a homophobe, or you like to beat on women or kids, or you're xenophobic, or any of those things. I don't need you in wrestling if you think it's okay to be disrespectful to people and cross lines. Granted, we're human. We make mistakes, but I don't need people in wrestling that can potentially hurt my business in the way that it's perceived. Because, in my opinion, all those celebrities that talked about wrestling and got involved and wanted to get into it, and then wrestling fans kicked them out, do you realize that if you can get a celebrity to like wrestling, and you get them to retweet something and reshare something, and them tell their friends about it and their friends about it, you put us back in fucking pop culture. There's more money, there's more this, there's more that, but we don't get that because we're gatekeeping the wrong people. We're okay with keeping the predators. We're okay with keeping the monsters, but we don't want to let the people who could actually help elevate us in. It's bullshit to me. I'm weird. Sorry. I know you said, wrestling is supposed to be for everybody, but we can't keep letting everybody in the club. Not everybody can be in the VIP section. Not everybody can get in the door. I don't care if you pay the door fee. Give me your money and then stand in the parking lot and listen to the music from outside. God damn it.
Okay. You're absolutely right. And I guess I should clarify, because although I did say wrestling is for everyone, I don't want any phobes, any negative people in general. I don't want it. But like,
just don't be weird.
I still feel like it should be for everyone, at least the rest of us, or the I don't know.
People that actually love this shit, like that want to be here and be a part of what this is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's actually, when all the moving parts are right, it's actually a really beautiful thing to watch wrestling play out. I think P, we was in the In Your House group chat, he was like, sometimes I love wrestling. And we're definitely going to talk about, like, but definitely we're like, we don't want to make this whole episode about this, because it was still a lot of great things to talk about, and we're going to shift gears. But we had the Royal Rumble last night. We also had the new deal for Monday Night Raw, and I talked a little bit about it on my solo shot for you guys that listened on Tuesday. $5 billion 10-year Netflix WWE Raw. You got SmackDown going to be going to the USA Network in October, and then NXT is going to the CW in October of this year as well. Big move for WWE, big situation as far as them streaming now, getting on streaming. And it's big because you have Raw, that's been a staple on cable television for over 30 years. Now they're going to take that deep dive into the next generation here. And this is the streaming era. And so now we're going to see WWE Raw on streaming. P, what was you thinking as far as being in the business? You know, everything as far as the things going down with OVW and Netflix, and that's kind of helped them out. And now we see that wrestling is once again coming to streaming. Is this something that we're going to see more of? Is the tighter relationship between professional wrestling and streaming services?
I think live wrestling with streaming is going to be a domino effect. It's got to be real. Lucha Libre USA was on streaming. NXT originally was only available on Hulu once upon a time.
I do remember that.
Lucha Underground, you know, after every season would go to Netflix. So it's like, it's not a matter of, you know, I feel like the trend we're about to get is we are about to get a lot more people who are going to decide to jump to streaming for their stuff because streaming is sometimes more accessible and even affordable than cable.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I say that, I mean, granted, I'm surprised they went to Netflix because Netflix has been getting a lot of flack lately about their prices. I was surprised they didn't either go straight to Peacock or go to Hulu. But that also may be a matter of, if you look at diagnostics, there could potentially be more people still have Netflix than those other streaming services. And the thing is not always about affordability, it's about accessibility. Because Hulu may be more affordable, even with you know, bundles. Peacock may be more affordable. Hell, HBO Max. I'm thinking that if the relationship with Warner stays the way that it does with AEW, that may be where AEW goes next. It's going to Max. But what I think is this is going to set a domino effect trend of wrestling companies, if not being weekly on streaming, at least moving more towards streaming. Like, honestly, after the I know we're going to get into it later, but after what looks like could potentially be a working relationship with a particular other wrestling company, I would love to see this wrestling company, maybe as part of partnership, streaming on Peacock. Maybe they can have the Peacock platform because, you know, right now they don't have like the greatest TV deal. And we keep talking about how they are probably the best wrestling that no one is watching because the issue is they don't have the type of, so put them on Peacock.
Yes, put them on Peacock. I love it. Let's get that a thing. That needs to be a thing. TNA on Peacock. Let's go. I'm here for that all day because I will watch. Damn it, I will watch. I promise you I will. Put that shit on Peacock. We need to clip this. Somebody at TNA or something. I don't know. Somebody tell somebody. And then maybe they already got it in the works. We don't know what's going on. Like you said, a working relationship and whatnot going on. We don't know. But like, let's get that going. That needs to be a thing.
Or if it's a conflict of interest because WWE is still potentially doing their pay-per-views from there, then you know what? Hulu and headlocks. Get my TNA on Hulu. Give me some Hulu and headlocks. That's what I want.
Yeah, I like that. Yes, I like that. I like anywhere. Like put TNA somewhere where I could just be like, oh, I already have this. You know what I'm saying? Like click, like boom, and that because we all want to see TNA do well, and that's why for me, and I know, and I even said this, I literally said this to my son. I was like, he's probably going crazy right now seeing all this TNA representation. You know, I was honestly, and we'll get into that. I was hoping to see Moose. I was really hoping to see Moose, but we'll get into that. But yeah, man, this deal is great. I mean, it's a good, like you said, domino effect for more streaming for professional wrestling. Hype, what was you thinking? What do you think? What's your thought is? Because people already kind of know what I've thought. So like, I wanted to get more what you guys are thinking. Where are you guys at with this deal?
So first off, I want to touch on the TNA thing because I think it's great. And I just want to shout out, I think Triple H has had a vision, especially as far as like reaching towards other wrestling companies and things like that. Maybe not your AEWs and things like that, because this is not the first time we've seen a TNA champion or an Impact champion in the Royal Rumble. If you remember, last year we had Mickey James. So I think even if it's not a complete handshake deal, I'm sorry.
And I was saying, not to cut you off, but like, with it being Triple H, we also got to see this in the Mae Young Classic, and we got to see this in the Cruiserweight Classic, because you had 2 New Japan people in the Cruiserweight Classic. You had multiple people from different companies showing up at the Mae Young Classic. So I feel like when Triple H is in charge of stuff, he has shown us he is willing to make certain bridges and make certain working relationships. I mean, hell, we got Jushin Thunder Liger against Tyler Breeze.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What was that? What was that even? That was great.
So, like I was saying, I think there's always been this kind of relationship with, or at least through the eyes of Triple H. He's like, hey, let's reach back. Let's bring somebody else in here, especially this person. But I think in particular, in this case, he sees how good the TNA Knockouts division has been, and I think this is always a no, or tip of the hat to that, and how strong they have been to the women's wrestling evolution, whatever you want to call it, because I think they've been right up there, if not better than WWE, right up there with WWE from the jump, and I think that's kind of a tip of the hat from Triple H to that. But then if we talk about the Netflix deal, bro, Netflix on Raw, or Raw on Netflix, absolutely amazing. I don't know what we're gonna call Monday Night Raw or whatnot, but Monday I know
Night Raw.
A lot of baby
Raw.
A lot of babies being made.
Putting on Netflix.
Oh man, be weird when that 3rd hour hitting. Are you still watching?
You know damn well
clapping cheeks, bro.
Oh no. This is how it be, bro. This is how it be.
I love it. Oh man, yes. It's I think it's a good thing. I really do.
Kids just think that wrestling's on really loud. There's lots of chops. No, that's not what that is.
Hey, chops.
It is headboards and headlocks.
Oh man, yes. Guys, this is why you guys listen to In Your House. This is the type of content that you're gonna get.
Yes.
Gonna get some stank on your hang down while you are watching Monty Brown. About to have.
Oh man, guys, we're having a great time here at In Your House. We're talking everything that's going on. We still have the Royal Rumble to talk about. We're having this. We're a little bit over 30 minutes into the show, y'all. We'd already laughed a lot. We'd already had a great time, and we ain't even talked about the Royal Rumble. So if you got you guys can already see the energy that's here in your house and where we're going, and that's why you guys come to us. That's why you guys listen to us. That's why you guys made us a 5-star podcast, and we appreciate y'all for that. And we're gonna continue to give you that work, because I have got Hypocrisy Jones, the world's most dangerous podcaster, Paragon, and we're gonna talk a little bit of Royal Rumble. And I have mixed feelings about this Royal Rumble. I feel like that it was a great show. I enjoyed it. But the first thing that popped out to me when I woke up and I was thinking about it and looking at the show was, as great as everything was, and some of the stuff that I got a chance to see as far as Jordan Grace showing up and Naomi making her return, and then Andrade returns as well. We see Omos make his return. We haven't seen Omos in a while, and we're seeing all this great stuff. I just felt like, was it just me, or did anybody feel like that crowd just wasn't there? Like, was I not receiving that right hype? What was it? Because you just rewatched it back this morning. I just don't feel like the energy of the crowd just wasn't there.
I'm gonna be real. I'm not gonna speculate on the crowd, because every time I've watched the Royal Rumble and rewatch it, I haven't been focused on the crowd. either had it turned down or just been watching visually. So like
Gotcha.
I've just been focused on the action, what's been going on. So I don't have a good assessment on what the crowd noise was or what the feel was. I will later on, because I'll rewatch it like when I go back to work or whatever, and then I'll get that feel of that. But like just in the ways that I've intaked it, I've only looked at it from a sense of action, what's going on in the ring.
Got you. Understood. And there was a lot of action that was going on in that show. We had the Women's Royal Rumble and a lot of things that happened in there. I mean, and I think that you were on the Bailey train from the very beginning. I mean, from the very beginning. And I think I put in the chat, because I was watching SmackDown, and she picked her number, and when she picked her number, she looked a little bit like, like, oh, I didn't get such a great number. So I was thinking, oh, she's going to come in from 1 and win the entire Rumble. But she ended up coming in at 3 and still ended up winning it.
That's a Ric Flair spot.
And for me, it was like, you know what? I'm fine with this. Like, even with everything that we saw in the room, we saw Jade come and finally make her debut. That was great. And we're going to break all this down. Trust me, guys. It's one long match. So there's a lot to break down. But for me, it was an enjoyable Rumble. And I think that the right woman won. And I think that it was a situation where I think anything else, I mean, you could have done Becky, but I think Becky already won one, and I just don't think that the right choice for me was Bailey, and I think that Triple H talked a little bit about it as far as how much of a giver she is in the business, and how, like, she's built up her name, who she is, and then she started, putting other people in the spotlight and giving them their shine, and helping.
I'm not gonna lie. If anyone won other than Bailey, I would have been mad because of the reasons that you've expressed, and because of the run that she's had for at least the last 2 years, and just pushing people up, and like I think this is her spot, and she deserved it. She deserved it, but more than anyone else on that women's roster, because she has been the most consistent piece of the WWE women's roster for the last decade.
And she's been elevating people. I love, like, the way that she is, how giving she is. I love that in a performer. P, you're a performer, and I like to think you're a pretty giving performer yourself. What do you think about who won the Royal Rumble? Your thoughts on the Royal Rumble? Just come on, talk to me.
Well, you brought up the crowd. I was paying attention to the crowd, and I felt like the crowd made certain appearances almost come off not as important because, like, for instance, Ricochet had been gone for a minute, and it felt like they didn't care. Sami Zayn had been gone for a minute, and he comes out number 30, and it's like they didn't care. And Bronson Reed and Ivar, who have been tearing it up on Raw.
That's what I'm. Thank you.
But the thing is,
do you think that's a Florida effect, though?
I don't think it's a Florida effect. I think it's a matter of there are people we were here and excited to see, and I think that wrestling fans have been conditioned when it comes to the Royal. You guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Yeah, we couldn't hear you now.
For returns, that this is a time for debuts and things like that. And so I think that we got ourselves in a situation where it's like, hey, how come the Women's Rumble had the I'm not going to say Forbidden Door, had the open relationship partnership with Impact. But they acknowledged Impact Wrestling when they talked about Naomi and the stuff that she did while she was gone. That, we had Jade Cargill, and so it's like we had all these things. And with the men's, it was like they were kind of hype, but also kind of flat on Andrade.
Yeah, I thought that was the big. I popped so hard when I saw Andrade.
I popped really hard for Andrade.
So hard, just internally, and it was one of those things because I knew he was coming, but like, oh yes, good.
I was just happy to see him. I was so happy.
And I popped, but it felt like the crowd was like 50-50. Like half of the crowd knew who he was, and the other half of the crowd was like, "Who is this guy?"
I still think that's Florida effect though, because like I might be wrong.
Andrade spent in Florida working for AEW. That's why I'm saying.
True. I don't understand. Like, I didn't understand because, like, and I'll harken back. I will always go back to this past, like last year's Backlash. Oh my God, like and we're not gonna like. I know we're not gonna see that. That was a situation where that was the first time they got it in like forever, and like they was just they was just that energy.
I think so. I really do think that like crowds that have been very spoiled, yes, by wrestling or mainstream wrestling, they don't and they won't pop as hard as like a Puerto Rico or an Indianapolis or over in Ireland or whatever that or in London. Those crowds, they pop because they know that like, man, I don't know when I'm gonna get this again.
Yeah.
And it I think there is that spoiledness. So like I'm still gonna say it's the Florida effect, because in Florida, that is
It's
the wrestling
crazy.
loop.
Yeah. That's like
Whether you have
so
NXT
much wrestling
there as a home or
the
AEW
indies
there as a
alone.
home, the indies, yes.
You spit in Florida, you'll hit at least 10 indie promotions.
Exactly.
You ain't lying. You're not lying. It's oversaturated down there. Like, it's crazy. Like, you could.
I will say this though. Overall, if you ask me the grade that I give the Royal Rumble, I'm gonna have to give it an A- skill. I'm gonna have to give it an A-. And the reason why I say that, is because like the Women's Rumble set the bar and the tone very high. Low key, I think the Women's Rumble probably should have been the main event over the men's. I feel like the Men's Rumble told the story it needed to tell. It was a lot less clunky, and it was a lot smoother, but it had less surprises and less things like that. I think the Fatal 4-Way did its job. I feel like the United States Championship match did its job. And the thing is, nothing wrong with doing your job. Sometimes your job isn't to wow. Your job is to, we're giving that break in between the shows. I was surprised that KO and Logan went on after.
That shocked me too. Yeah, I was surprised.
I was really weirded out by the positioning of the card as well. Like, I understand starting off with a Rumble, ending with a Rumble, but where the Universal title match fell was kind of weird.
Yeah, and I'm the only reason why I say that I'm okay with how the men's went is because you get that visual in the end of Cody pointing at the skybox and Roman being like, "Is this motherfucker pointing at? Hey, you better not fucking pointing at me, goddamn!" Like, I love that there was two angry men yelling at the sky, literally, because you know damn well you can't hear each other, but you can hear each other.
Yep.
And
you know he's talking mad.
I'm over here like copying the conversation because I'm picturing Cody being very wholesome and Roman just being foul. Like, Cody's like, "Hey there, buddy, when I get up there, I'm gonna punch you in the mouth and I'm gonna show you what's what." And Roman's like, "I'm gonna bend your mother over." No lube. And I'm about to ODB that bitch because I'm about to
oh god,
I'm about to show her Netflix and like it raw.
Netflix and acknowledge me.
Right?
Oh man.
Netflix and cheese nuts.
Man. Oh man. So the Royal Rumble, we saw many great surprises. I want to talk a little bit more as far as the working relationship that we're seeing now between what was Impact Wrestling, now back to being TNA, and we talked a little bit about this on one of the last few episodes, Hype, just what's happening in TNA. There's something like there's something cooking, you know what I'm saying? It's just like it's right there. And I'm very excited about what we could see. We saw the return of Naomi, a lot of speculation that she was going to return to the company. We saw her return, but we also got another treat. We got Jordynne Grace, the TNA Women's Champion, coming and just showing up, and she's there doing it. It was crazy. She had the title and everything. You even heard Michael Cole referencing TNA a couple of times on commentary, and you just love to see it. I think anybody who's paying attention to what's going on in TNA is like, there's something special going on here. I know that P is somebody who's seen it very, very early. I know there's a lot of people that work there that you know. What are you thinking, man, as far as your feelings of TNA about to prosper, and it's looking like that's the direction we're moving in. And kind of seeing some of those, loins come and be fruitful with the return of Naomi and the appearance of Jordan Grace. What were you thinking?
Well, one, all I can do is hope that this rub does something for TNA. One, because Naomi comes back, and WWE has always been big of not acknowledging other companies. Even when Mickie James returned with the title, and they said, "Oh, Impact Wrestling's Knockout Women's Champion," it felt like that was it.
Yeah.
Whereas they give what Naomi was doing while she was gone and how she was TNA Women's Champion. Oh shit, that's dope. And then Jordan Grace shows up, and it's like, it's the woman who beat Naomi. And then I think it was Pat McAfee or Corey Graves saying TNA has a weapon in Jordan Grace.
Yes.
And like the things that they were saying to put her over. I think, I know you said you were hoping like Moose would show up. I mean, I would love my boy Trey Miguel or Jackson Stone or Chris Bay would have showed up. But I think they had the right call with it being Jordan, because Jordan is such an anomaly with her strength, with her build, with her look. And if you've noticed, anomaly wrestlers are back in fashion in WWE, because no one looked like Chyna when Chyna was around. WWE currently has 3 Chynas, and Bianca, Rhea, and now Jade Cargill. And that's not even including those that are down in NXT. And so, when you have someone that is the build of those women, and then also maybe the height and size of a Nia Jax, and then you have someone like Jordan Grace who walks in, and though she's shorter than those women, she's stocky and she's bulky and she's big mama pump. Like, she literally, that when that siren went off, I was like, Scott, oh snap!
I was like, oh no, it's Jordan.
But like, it's dope, it's cool, and it feels like when you have someone showcase like that, and you have her come out with the title, it's showing like, hey, there's this company out there that also has this talent that's on par with our anomalies. Yes. Because Jordan was dwarfing the majority of the women's roster, at least when it comes to size. And the power game and the things that Jordan was doing made Jordan look incredible. And I hope this is a moment where people see Impact in WWE, and it makes people want to seek Impact because of her. Like, yes. I will always tell people, a lot of times, women's wrestling, especially good women's wrestling, is what will get you into a company. Like, when people are like, oh, who would you recommend if you want somebody to watch AEW? Willow.
Yeah.
Willow.
Yep. Willow or Eddie Kingston.
Or I would say Willow, or I would say Athena, or I would say Ricky Starks. Like, they're, granted, I'm naming a lot of black people, and I'm naming 2 black women, but what I'm saying is, like, if you're trying to get somebody into the modern day ROH, you're trying to get somebody into AEW, I'm saying Willow and Athena, because Athena makes wrestling gritty and look real again, look harsh and like about it. And then you have on the other end, you have Willow, who Willow is just marketing, just a marketing field dream. Like, she literally, you see her on TV and you're like, this is what a babyface is supposed to be. She's
vibey. She's very vibey.
She's a whole vibe. Like, the fact that she's not women's champion for AEW right now, to me, is a travesty.
Yeah, that's crazy. You're not wrong in that aspect. I just want to touch on the fact, or shout out to Grundmeister and everybody that's in the chat, whether it's been the voice Joshua Joseph, Brandon Palicki, anybody who's been in the chat, shout us out or want to shout you out. But Grundmeister brought up TNA versus WWE PLE, and I think that's interesting. I'm going to give a short answer on that. I don't know if I want a full PLE of TNA versus WWE guys, but can I get Evolution back, or the Evolution pay-per-view back, and bring TNA women there, and have a showcase of that? I would love to see that. And Jordan Grace versus Rhea Ripley would be major, but I also really want to see Jordan Grace versus Bianca.
I would love to see Jordan versus Io, just for the clash of styles.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
But so to jump off of what you said, if we didn't bring back the Evolution pay-per-view, which I would have loved, and to have that be where Jordan shows back up, give us the 90s Raw ECW deal where one match or 1 hour of the show is ECW showing up and showcasing to the world what they do. I would love, while TNA is trying to get their TV deal or their bigger TV deal or their streaming deal, I would love WWE showcases them and once a week on Raw or once a week on SmackDown. Probably not Raw because they're going to Netflix, and so they're probably really trying to hone on that other thing. And the issue is right now SmackDown is on Fox, which is another big thing. So have Impact show up on NXT.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, yeah. Let's do that. I like
Jordan,
that.
I dig that.
Grace versus Tiffany Stratton. Jordan Grace versus Lash Legend. Jordan Grace versus Roxy Perez. Jordan Grace versus, Jade Cargill. There's things that you can do.
I think you can more evenly incorporate the men too in NXT,
because you don't have to worry about our Raw and SmackDown talent can't afford losses, but your NXT talent can.
Right? Yeah, they can because they are developmental, or no matter how long they've been in the company, whether they're the veteran that's that's in the NXT company, they can still take an L and it'll be okay, and it makes things overall more even that way, and I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I like that.
Because picture Ilya Dragunov versus Josh Alexander.
Ooh. You already had Josh Alexander who was out there doing his thing, you know what I'm saying, and having great matches, and has been having great matches with great talent. And I would like to see something like that. I would definitely like to see something like that.
Let me get Moose and Oba Femi.
Moose and Oba. I'm thinking Mello versus Chris Bay or Trey Miguel.
Ooh, that'd be nasty. That'd be nasty.
Let's get a tag team. Let's do Trick and Mello versus Bullet Club over there.
But see, here's the thing, though.
That'd be good too.
I'd want Trick doing promos against Joe Hendry.
Ooh, that'd be good too. This is what I was talking about. The talent that TNA has is, oh my gosh,
now if and when y'all do this, I want my royalty.
Man,
I want my restitution. I want my restitution.
For real. If this happens, we're gonna save this clip right here because Papa H.
Make sure put the date on there. Put the date on there. Because that's heavy. And here's the thing though. The thing that I like most about it is that at this point, with everything that we're seeing in wrestling, it's not really out of the realm of possibility to see stuff like this happen. And that's cool in itself to me. That's what makes wrestling really cool, is that hey, we're talking about this. At some point we'd be talking about this nah, it'll never happen. But now we're like, you know what?
Well, it can, because there's no silly doors or anything like that. I'm
not going to talk about doors because that's stupid and silly. Hey,
you know what you was doing, Triple H.
I'm going to say this because we got to be fair. We've talked about not liking when AEW takes shots at the Fed. I think we need to say that though it might have been a funny tongue-in-cheek thing, it was unnecessary. He didn't have to address doors. And it goes back to the whole it can't be okay if one does it but bad when somebody else does it. Difference was that shit was funny to me, and that's the part that I'm trying.
That's the part that matters the most, is because it was fucking funny and it was dead on, dead ass. So,
it's just funny stuff, man. And we're gonna talk more about.
Somebody right now is tweeting, "Don't talk about my doors. My doors are better than your doors. My doors have not lost a match. You got a title match. Tune in this week to TNT."
Oh man, crazy!
Things have happened for lesser reasons. I got in trouble this week for talking good about my teams. So I'm telling you, things can happen for lesser reasons.
Man, and we talk about the things that's happening, all this stuff in wrestling. We're talking about TNA. We're still talking about the Royal Rumble, staying with it. We had somebody like Andrade return. We also had Omos return, being accompanied by MVP. I guess we could see them jump back into the fold. That is big. You see them jump back into the fold of things. And that's going to be interesting to see. I was really happy to see Andrade. I really was. Like, we speculating that he was going to come for a while, and him being a Triple H guy, being a former US champion and a former NXT champion, I feel like there was still more meat on the bone as far as him in WWE. And I'm glad to see that he can come back and do a little bit more. We're starting to see things form with the Hispanic talent there in WWE. Of course, we have the LWO, and then we have Legado and everything that they're doing. And then, of course, Dominic Mysterio is still out there thriving, and you have Priest out there thriving. And honestly, I love to see our Hispanic brothers and sisters out there eating and doing their thing and be represented in such a way that I feel like, honestly, Rey Mysterio was carrying that on his back for a long time, where he was like the only guy on the roster that was of like Hispanic descent. And now we're seeing this huge wave of Hispanic talent. Honestly, I think it's a beautiful thing. Hype, what you thinking, man? You're seeing Andrade come back. You're seeing Omos come back. You're seeing this representation of Hispanic talent. We're about to be in Australia. The continuation of international markets being hit by the WWE. Where's your mind at as far as the talent that WWE is starting to bring in and bring back?
As we say on this show a lot, it just shows and proves that they have an embarrassment of riches, and yes, just it's just everything at their disposal. Andrade coming back was huge. I'm not even gonna lie. Part of me forgot about Omos, and then I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh man, okay, cool." Like, I hope they can actually do something big with him. I know they're gonna do something big with Andrade because I think that's a passion project for Triple H. If you guys heard in the press conference, he spoke really highly of Andrade, and he alluded to the fact that maybe a few years ago wasn't the right time for him with the people that were in place creatively. So I think we don't have to read between the lines and tell you what that means. But I think he is in a much better place, and we are going to see the Andrade that we should have seen, if not long ago in AEW or in WWE, but also the Andrade we should have probably seen in AEW. We're going to see probably the best version of Andrade that we will the best version possible in the future, and I love that.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the best of Andrade as well, and we're seeing a lot of these talents get maximized. Like, I could easily see somebody like a Chad Gable beating a Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. That's something that we could have seriously talked about. Chad Gable for a while wasn't really talked about like that. He was doing Shorty G stuff and doing some odd stuff, and now look. Yeah, I know. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
You remember when they trademarked that, and we were like, "What the hell is this?"
I remember. What are they doing with this man? This guy is a wrestling talent. What are you doing?
Let's just make it a testament.
You just broke my heart, bringing that back. You just broke.
I'm sorry. Man. But look how far he's come, though.
I'm ready to go to sleep after that. Well, you didn't ruin my whole day.
He was like, my whole Sunday done.
Hey, man. That man that came back from a lot, though. But it was a weird omission not to see him in the Rumble. So that was kind of weird.
It was. But my point in saying that is that they've done such a great job in maximizing the talent that they have that I feel like with Andrade, they're going to come in and maximize. Another person I can think of, look at how they've maximized Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke, it seems more deadly and more dangerous than he's ever been before, and that's because of the presentation that they're giving to him. We saw Roman Reigns after his first 7-8 years in the company get cleaned up to become the tribal chief. Like, things are moving in a way that we can take this great talent, this fantastic physical anomaly talent, but also make you care about them by giving them these larger than life characters that feel big anywhere that they are on the card. Everything is something, and this is one thing I know the whole Attitude Era, it is definitely not viewed in the way that I viewed it when I was a kid. I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome. But now you look at it now, it's like not so great.
a lot of stuff and it sucked last night.
Yeah, you see, listen. So like with the Attitude Era, I think what they did right was make you care about everything that was happening on the card. There was talent on all parts of the card that had something going on, that was busy with some sort of story and looped and tied into something. And then sometimes you would see those stories looped and tied into each other for segments of a show. And I think that we're seeing more of that in today's WWE, and I like that. Like when we see R-Truth crossing paths with the Judgment Day. Now, all of a sudden, now he's with the Judgment Day. Now, this was a thing where we're crossing paths with two characters a group and a character doing two completely different things, cross paths. Now they're linked to each other. You know what I'm saying? And it's that organic stuff that I like. I like the fact that we have these large life characters that have to be in these scenarios with each other, and we have to see how these characters cope and act around each other and reflect and bounce off of each other. And it's two completely different characters, like you would see in like the Attitude Era, or even like you would see in like the Golden Era or something like that, when they had characters. Only problem with the Golden Era is that stuff got outdated really, really quick.
And
they needed a revamp at that time. Yeah,
they all had jobs. Like, your gimmick should not be your job. I will say this though. When I was watching the Rumble last night, I was watching with my fiance, and the reason I probably would say these people I'm about to mention are my MVPs are because it's one thing when you watch it as a fan. When you have someone who's a non-fan or who's a casual fan and they're watching it, those impressions tell you a lot. So when Omos comes out, she's like, "Who the fuck is that? Why is he so goddamn big?" She was like, "He's making all these other tall people look small." And I'm like, that's the point. He made that impression. Then Braun Breaker's out there and she's like, "He's on crack." She's like, the cocaine is making him so strong and explosive, and I love it. So, like, that was making a positive impression. I think Braun Breaker had a hell of a showcase.
Oh, incredible.
Hell of a showcase. She talked about how Jade Cargill and Nia Jax were definitely showing out, and she was loving seeing what they were doing. But then she also brought up the fact of, like, oh, they gonna eliminate Bianca from her braid? Nah, I would have whooped somebody's ass if that was me. She was going in for a whole 2 hours. When she found out the stat of Chelsea Green getting eliminated in 5 seconds, I can last longer than 5 seconds. How the fuck you a wrestler? You can't last longer than 5 seconds. She was on her ass. So, like, I love it. There's moments like that and things like that to me, people don't realize how important they are. Like, people be like, "I hate Omos, and Omos is this, Omos is that." Yet he shows up after being gone from TV in the Rumble. Crowd reacts to it, and then somebody sitting here at home that's never seen Omos before not only reacts, but then sees him compared to other people that she does watch every once in a while on Raw, SmackDown, or whatever, and goes, "God damn." Her not really watching NXT, because normally I'm doing the pod with you guys or whatever may have you when NXT is going on. So she doesn't see Braun Breaker. So when she sees Braun Breaker doing his cokehead shit, she's like, "Oh my God, he is just..." So there's certain people I feel like really showcased what they can do and who they were. And a lot of it is not because of, just how I feel as a wrestler, as a fan, but as somebody who is watching just to watch, who has no dog in the fight. To me, that's
Oh, for sure. No, I agree with that. I love watching, especially these bigger events. I love watching them with people who don't normally watch wrestling, just because you get to see those authentic and real reactions. And I think that makes it, I think that makes it special. I thought that this Royal Rumble was good as far as bringing in new talent and develop, because one thing that I thought was really, like, we love to see the legends and stuff like that. And I even saw some weird takes. I'll tell you, I think I saw some guy on Twitter, something talking about Hulk Hogan needs to come in at number 30 and win the Rumble. And I was like, whoa, are you serious, man? I don't know what you're talking about. But because I guess there was some, I guess
he must have been in Jones's stash.
Every Steiner is born with coke in their blood.
No, my stuff don't do that.
He got it. Yeah, there it is. Man. But
I saw some
weird
Every
takes.
Steiner is born with the coke in their blood too.
I saw some weird takes, and one thing that I did see about about the Royal Rumble matches, that there was not a whole lot of reliability on like legend returns or something like that. Like it was really just like, yeah, it was their talent. Like they used that opportunity to return their guys and new guys that are their guys, not one-offs that are like, oh, I'm just here to kind of fool around. Like, of course, we could talk about Pat McAfee and him going in and eliminating himself, which I was like, well, I mean, I guess you got to have that. I for one don't like those spots, but I get why they're in there because I'm like, damn, you just wasted a spot. But you know, it is what it is. But I think that being able to display some of these guys, because even my son was like, he says he's not a Bronson Reed fan, but he talks about Bronson Reed an awful lot. So I think he's kind of a Bronson Reed fan. And even before the Rumble, he was like, Bronson Reed needs to be in the Rumble. If he's not in the Rumble, I'm gonna be mad. And I'm like, oh, like you kind of make it like I'm kind of like, Bronson Reed needs to be in the Rumble. Like, yeah. And they're like, he's good. Like he's good. So I'm glad he was there. You know, obviously I'm glad like Andrade was there. I was glad to see Omos back again. You know, they took that opportunity to bring back Liv Morgan. Like they returned their talent, their actual weekly talent.
Tiffany Stratton and Roxanne got to be in the Rumble.
Yes, that was great. It was Tiffy time. I'm always happy when it's Tiffy time because I think she's a fantastic, like developmental, like she's gonna be big.
She's the future. Like,
bro. I said something last night and I was like, I gotta remember to say this on the pod. And damn me if you must, but I'm standing on it. I feel like Tiffany Stratton is what WWE wanted Kelly to be.
Yeah.
Like for real.
Yo, so they just said surprise Trick didn't get a spot. Honestly, I was actually going to say I feel like that should have been the Pat McAfee spot right there.
And oh man, come on!
Because you hear that number and then you just hear that would have been a star.
That would have woke them up.
To have a whole Royal Rumble crowd chanting "Whoop that Trick," but I think that would have been the issue.
You got to put him on the main roster after that.
But they didn't have Booker T on commentary to make it even hyper. That's why it didn't happen. Man.
Listen, you know what would have been better? It's like, hey, Book, what are you doing here? And whoop that Trick.
Yeah,
I like it. Are you just coming into that? Oh yeah, man.
And then he leaves right after. He's just done. Like after he gets eliminated, he leaves too.
Right.
Oh man, no, I like a lot of people feel a lot of different ways about this Rumble. I've seen some kind of like mixed reactions or whatever. But like I said, like I think as far as what they're doing, I like what they're doing because they're standing on their guys. Like they're relying on their talent. Like, and I'm happy to see that. I know it's not surprising or shocking, and it's not sexy to people who love a little bit of shock value. I'm sorry MJF wasn't in the Rumble, but you know what? They're standing on their guys and relying on their talent and relying on the guys that they've invested time into to come in, return, and find their road to WrestleMania. I'm fine with it. You guys will be okay. Not everything has to be for shock value. Okay.
What do you need legends in a week where names like The Rock are now board of directors of the WWE, and you have, I don't really want to say this guy's name, but like the guy that was in all of the Tampa Bay Royal Rumble, like talk about ads.
Yeah,
God, fucking stupid Hogan. You don't really need a lot of you don't have those things and then be like, I really need X-Pac to be in this Royal Rumble because I don't think it adds anything to it. So I was happy that they utilized their people and they utilized a young group of talented people because I think they saw that hey, this Rumble has a lot more eyes on it because of things that are going on right now.
Young. You realize the top of the card of WWE, I believe the average age is 38 and above. Jey Uso, 38. I think
that makes sense.
I think Damian Priest is like 41 or 42.
LA
Knight, he's not in his late 30s. He's in his early 40s. So you can't really say young. They may be in there.
I more so mean like your Logan
Prime.
Pauls or your Austin Theories or your Tiffany Strattons or your Mello was in the Rumble. People like that. Like that we would that normally that those spots would go to probably a legend spot. Like we talk about Pat McAfee getting his spot, and that was a good spot. And I don't want to talk about him like his spot like being someone else's spot, because I think they put him there for a reason. They needed that break, right? And you probably could have used a plethora of other guys in that spot, but like, who better than Pat McAfee? You know what I mean?
Also saw the return of Liv Morgan last night too.
Yes, Liv Morgan,
as you see right behind me.
Yes, Liv Morgan.
But it goes back to kind of what Khan was saying, where it felt like some of those like returns of like people who were out, some of them kind of fell flat, and I don't know. It was that crowd.
Yeah. And honestly, I'll say this as well. This is nothing against Liv Morgan. I still don't, me personally, and I've said it, I still don't see the complete connect with Liv Morgan just yet, but that's just me. I'm not huge, not hating on her. I'm just not, she's not in my like top 5, none of that. She's not none of that.
They should have swapped her and Jade. I think if Jade came out,
boom, there you go.
So that way Liv still gets that, yay, we're glad you're back, Pop. Without, oh, you're number 30. I thought it was going to be Sasha.
That's my point. They did not do Liv justice by bringing her in at 30, because we're talking about
same thing to Sami Zayn. Like, I felt like they brought Sami Zayn in at 30, and it hurt him. Low key, you could have put Andrade at 30. You could have put Punk at 30.
Yep.
You could have put Braun Breaker at 30.
Yep.
Like, you could use the 30 spot, if not doing a 30 spot to be like a debut, a call up or whatever. And I only say that because, well, they did do a return with Sammy. Sammy had been out for a month or some change.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
but the issue was that
Liv too. Liv was a return too.
I agree with using Sammy at the 30 spot in the men's, but I don't agree with using Liv at the 30 spot for the women's. I think you're right. That could have been a Jade. That could have been it could have been a lot of other people in that. You could even put Tiffany Stratton in that 30 spot, and it probably
all I'm saying is this: in a women's rumble where there was heavy speculation, we got AJ Lee putting on her IG story of her in her Chuck boots. You know what I'm saying? Sasha Banks is taking pictures in front of pictures of Triple H. Is she signing with AEW? Is she going to return at the Rumble? This was probably is Jade Cargill going to make her debut, which later we saw that we did. With all the speculation, as far as this being one of the heaviest women's Royal Rumbles, where speculation was one of the biggest things that was going into this Royal Rumble match, you did not do Liv Morgan justice by putting her in at that 30 spot. I agree with P and what he's saying. You put Jade Cargill in that 30 spot, and boom, you got what you were looking to accomplish, got accomplished. You had that person that was part of that speculation. When I talk about speculation, I'm talking about Sasha Banks. I'm obviously talking about Jade Cargill, and I'm talking about AJ Lee, where there was heavy speculation. You could have brought her in, and she would have been the one out of that 3 that had heavy speculation. You bring her in at 30, everybody's satisfied. It's great, but instead you compromise Liv Morgan's return by putting her there, and everybody's like, it's Liv Morgan. When Liv Morgan works, she does a great job, but I'm sorry, it would have been bigger if it would have been AJ Lee. It would have been bigger if it was Sasha Banks. It would have been bigger if it was Jade Cargill at 30, and they just didn't do her any favors, I believe.
Can I just on the Jade Cargill thing, I don't think she needed to be number 30, because I think we needed a sample size of Jade, and we needed to see her have those like kind of one-on-one interactions with Nia and with Bianca and with who else? With Becky. We needed to have those sample size like things with that. So I think she needed the little bit of more time. It's the same same reasoning as Punk going in at that 27 spot too.
I think when we say at 30, it's more so mentioning like the 30 spot has been made the death spot. Either you're getting a big pop or you're going to get booed or silenced. And I feel like we wouldn't have gotten that with Jade. We wouldn't have gotten that with Jordan Grace.
Yeah, you could have done Jordan Grace too, yeah.
So that's why I'm saying like it's a matter of not that Jade came out at the wrong time, because what you are saying is right. We needed that sample size. Just like we needed Jordan to come out earlier like she did, because you get the immediate storytelling with Naomi and you get that nice showcase. It's more so a matter of sometimes the number 30 spot can hurt somebody. Like somebody said in the chat, like Sami Zayn got the Rey Mysterio treatment. They were so gung-ho about thinking they were going to get Daniel Bryan when no one announced him for the damn match. Mm-hmm. And then when Daniel Bryan doesn't come out, Rey Mysterio gets booed for the very first time in his career.
Right.
And so I think the number 30 spot since then, right there in that moment, the number 30 spot became either the best spot or the worst spot to have. Because either you're getting the love or you're getting the work.
Yeah, and usually that work, that hate, it's misdirected. A lot of the times it's misdirected.
It's kind of weird the way they formulate things, especially with that, because your number 30 spot is kind of like, well, yeah, nowadays, well, you know that person's not going to win, right? Like, because we knew Liv came out, well, she's not going to win, you know. Yeah. Even when Rey Mysterio came out years back, like we knew he wasn't going to win. That was Batista, you know what I mean? Like, It is a weird spot. It's really weird because you almost get more benefit out of being the number 1, number 2 spot. Because
number 30 still has the record though for most wins though.
Yes, yeah, and I think, but I'm gonna call that a testament to probably lazy booking back in the day. Because how many number 30 spot wins have we had in the last decade?
5.
Has it been a lot? We've had 5.
Since the beginning of the Rumble till now, there have been 5. I believe, though, there's another spot that has 4.
Okay.
So there's another spot that has 4, and I want to say that might be number 2.
Okay.
So here are the winningest numbers in the Rumble.
Here we go. All right, hit us with it.
1, 2, 27, 30. Jade came out at 27. Punk came out at 27.
Right.
Naomi came out at number 2, and she would have had the Iron Man had Bayley not won.
Yeah.
At the number 3 spot. I believe number 3 currently has 2 or 3 people who have won from that. But yeah, I believe that the most winningest ones are the spots number 1, 2, 27, and 30. Because I believe Taker has won from one of those spots. Michaels, Benoit, was it like Triple H or something like that? So like a lot of people, Taker, I think I already said Taker, but the point
Cody
is,
Cody has won from 30.
30.
Brock Lesnar won from 30. Triple H won from 30. Roman Reigns won from 30. Wait, maybe not.
A lot.
John Cena won from number 30. Yeah, you're right. It's kind of a weird thing how they do.
Hey, that's how it is. It's the Rumble, man. It's the Rumble. But yeah, like I said, I felt like that there was a lot of things that they could have done just, a little bit differently, but it is what it is. But we're here to talk about it, speculate about it and whatnot. It's a crazy thing. But so now I got to ask you guys this. I'll start with P here, and then we'll go to Hype, go around the room here. Who are your, just for, let's say for the show all around, and if you want it to be just Rumble matches, you can suffice it to close to just Rumble matches. But I'll ask this, P, who's your 3 MVPs of last night's Royal Rumble?
You said the whole night or just the matches?
Whatever you want to do. It could be just the matches or it could be the whole night. Whatever you think the evaluation is worth.
I'm going to do the whole night as a whole.
Okay.
And in no particular order.
Yeah, no particular order. Just whoever you think really shined.
I'm going to say Nia. And if you don't agree, then you're just choosing to be biased and blind. Nia did the damn thing. She showcased herself. She looked like a monster. My issue with Nia is my issue with every other big person in these matches. This is a match you should win.
Yeah.
Yes, I get everyone gangs up on you, but this is a match you should win. The fact that Kane never won a Rumble, but he held the elimination record, the fact that Big Show never won a Rumble, and then he finally won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which didn't hold the same weight. I believe next year, to break this tradition and make it not seem like silly and stupid, Nia should probably win next year. Granted, that's also based off of whoever is striking. Because if somebody is hitting it, then they're going to end up getting over Nia. But then I think Nia just be destroying when it comes to eliminations. But yeah, Nia is on my list of the top 3. Braun Breaker looked incredible. He looked like he was main roster ready.
Yeah,
he looked like he was main roster ready. And then I would say the third spot probably goes to, I'm going to say Jordan Grace, because to be the first time on that platform, I felt like she showed up and she showed out. There's other people I would love to show love to, and there's other people I think that also did great. But when it comes to who were the MVPs that really did the damn thing and left a lasting impression, it was probably Braun, Nia, and Jordan.
Right. Okay. All right. I like those. I like that pick. I like those picks. I know I share some of them. What do you think? Hype. What do you think as far as your 3 MVPs?
Yeah, I think I think my future best friend P is very right in his assessment. Nia was definitely one of my MVPs. I think I also want to give shout out to Jade, because I think she came in pretty strong. She has kept her reputation above her. Nothing necessarily raised in her stock, but like the appeal is there and it's going to stay there for a while. So I think she's definitely an MVP in her own right, or at least need to give her own props. I got to give a shout out to my girl Bailey, because I've been saying that she's going to win this from the jump.
Yeah.
And showed improve. I think Braun Breaker had a hell of a showing in the Royal Rumble as well. There's speculation that he kind of got the Brock Lesnar spot, or was able to do the Brock Lesnar thing, and I think he kind of nailed that. He showed up, he showed out, like P said, he looked like he was on crack. I mean, I ain't know if he hang out with Pookie like that, but I really can't wait until his main roster debut. And I'm not gonna lie, man, I'm really digging the whole Corbin and him thing in the
me too,
in the Dusty Rhodes Classic. So I wouldn't even mind if they stayed a tag team and he debuted main roster. I wouldn't hate that. But man, but biggest shout out, man, is to Cody Rhodes through all this, man. He won. He won for the second time again, and he helped all us wrestling fans not lose our freaking minds last night.
Yeah, man. Because
that he lost, it'd have been a completely different day in the wrestling world.
It would have been a different day.
I disagree, because I feel like what could have happened is, in the case that Punk did win, if Punk challenges Rollins, then you put Cody in that Becky Lynch scenario of winning the chamber to then challenge the champion.
I know that would be the logical step, but I also know that wrestling fans, and the toxicity of wrestling that it is, everyone would have lost their damn mind and be like, he should have won. He can't finish the story. I hate WWE. And like, it'd been
I almost think that uproar would have been, in the grand scheme of things, a good thing, because if he would have lost to Punk, and then Punk ended up, going and doing his thing and finishing his story by going up against Rollins for World Heavyweight Championship, then it's like, oh no, Cody, how's Cody going to finish his story? He still has to try to find his place. Like, it's almost like when Rollins a few years ago was trying to figure out how he can be in WrestleMania. Like, it was consuming him that he couldn't be a part of WrestleMania. So he had to do different avenues and different things to try to find his WrestleMania match. And eventually he ended up, and that's how he ended up wrestling, Cody Rhodes when Cody Rhodes' return. But I think it would be a better story and a better like cliffhanger if we're like still waiting at this point for Cody to figure out how he's going to finish the story. Like, okay, like now Elimination Chamber's left. He's probably not going to have a lot of chances to finish his story this year if he doesn't make a play
at Elimination Chamber. And I'm not saying he lose at Elimination Chamber. I'm saying whatever scenario happens wins. I'm saying between him losing the Royal Rumble and up until Elimination Chamber, people are going to be like, oh no, he's not finishing the story. This is stupid. This is blah, blah, blah. Yeah. How are you not? Oh, I bet it's going to be The Rock. I bet The Rock's going to come and take his spot, blah, 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 blah. And then, shut him up at Elimination Chamber. But like I just think that there is still a little bit of meat on the bone as far as getting people to kind of freak out about the story.
No, I think you're right.
So,
and
that's
then
where
Cody
I'm at.
comes out. He's wrestling Roman at Mania. Roman is using the numbers game against Cody. You hear, if you smell. The Rock comes out. Cody is fighting the bloodline off. He gets hyped. He goes to dap up the Rock bottom. And then he pulls on top of Cody. Cody never gets to finish the story.
Done.
Oh my God. If that happened, I don't even, the entire wrestling community would just implode inside of itself. Like,
I'm not gonna lie. If that happens, I'm immediately applying for Busted Open Radio because I know Dave LaGreca is going to unalive himself.
It's just like, if that happened, oh my gosh, that would be crazy. But so we're coming up to the close of this show here. It's been a really great episode. I just want to ask this. As far as Cody and his situation, I think we did talk a little bit about Bayley and how great it was for her to win. Now we've seen that Cody is now a back-to-back Royal Rumble winner. We haven't seen that since Stone Cold Steve Austin years ago. I gotta ask, so are we all in agreement that Cody is indeed finishing the story? Do we have anybody that's out on that? Because to me, it feels like this is the path we're going at. Like, do you think that are we really gonna see this guy win 2 Royal Rumbles in a row just to lose the title at WrestleMania? Where are we at? What's up?
All right. So do I think there's a chance they have him lose twice in a row? Yes. Because I have a feeling that there's a chance that he could lose twice in a row, and then he's getting this, like, your last opportunity is at SummerSlam, and then Cody somehow steals it.
You got to finish it at SummerSlam if that's the case.
It's like, but with that being said, I also feel like they're not going to do that. They want 40 because we're doing WrestleMania 40.
Yes.
You got to think about it. WrestleMania 20, big, beautiful moment with the celebration of Guerrero and Benoit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania 30,
yep.
Daniel Bryan, confetti.
Big, beautiful moment, yep.
For WrestleMania 40, because you're trying to show that this is the new era, you heard Triple H say he's the future and the face. Well, if that's the case, 40 is the place you have to show it because the new season of wrestling starts after WrestleMania.
Yep.
You have to close one chapter and start the next one with showcasing who is now going to be the main character in this story. And in order to finish the story and to become the main character, to become the, whatever, it's got to happen at 40.
I agree with that. I just really think it's happening. Like, I get it. It's cool to say, oh, what if he doesn't finish it? What if? Like, I think I get it. I get why people like to do that. But to me, it's just like, I'm a guy that, like, if it makes sense, it makes sense. And if it makes sense, it could make dollars. And I just think right now you make him the cover athlete of your WWE video game. He's saying all the right things in press conferences. He's definitely that great PR politician type of guy. And then his name that's tied to him is one of the most prestigious names in professional wrestling. Like, to me, it's just like boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. The timing is perfect. Everything's perfect coming into place. I get it. I don't think that we need to overthink this or be overly convoluted. Roman has had a great run, a long run. It's been great for almost 4 years. But, like, right now, I think that that's just how it's got to happen, is that it's got to be Cody. It has got to be Cody. I'm on the Cody train. I think that the timing is right. And boom, boom, boom. Hype, what you thinking, man?
Hey, what up, Howsehold? Don't take this the wrong way or anything, but my name's Hypocrisy Jones, and there's this dude that I really don't like in life. And I could go into a long-winded explanation as to why I don't like him, but all I'm saying is, look, I just really want Roman to pass Hogan, okay? And I'm selfish in that, so like, and I don't care, and I don't care at all. I don't care about Cody's story like that. He'll finish it eventually. He'll win a title or whatever, but like, just pass Hogan. That's all I want. That's what I've been wanting. I wanted this before Cody, and I'm just gonna stick to my guns.
That's true. I'll say this. You've been co-host of this show for a couple of years now, and you've been saying throughout the entirety of this Roman, when we started realizing Roman was on a different level type of run, you was like, just let him beat Hogan. Just let him beat Hogan. You've been saying that before Cody even returned back to the East. So like, yeah, I see why you say what you're saying, bro. I really do. Trust me. I'm with you, but I just my logic is telling me WrestleMania 40. Everything P is saying is making sense logically. I'm also looping into the fact that he's the cover boy of the 2K24 video game. They're putting his face on things, putting him out there, throwing him out there. Roman has been a great champion, but now they want that big. And here's the thing, bro, and I've said it on this show. Building organic baby faces is hard because people are fucking jaded and they just like the bad guys all the time. And then the bad guys end up having to be cool. And then, you know, they're the cool bad guys. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're cheering the guys that are supposed to be bad. Like, no, Cody is an organic, for real baby face. Like
my fiance was saying last night, she doesn't like Cody Rhodes because she feels like it's not genuine. Because
he's hiding something.
Forced to that, right?
Because who's that good of a person, and people like the bad guy now, and this whole Mr. America do-gooder, like I don't buy it. And then she was like, "That's
Cody's whole gimmick is a dirty politician."
Hold on. But she's like, "That's fucking Homelander," and I'm like, Granted, here's the thing: she doesn't watch wrestling and she loves the boys, and so seeing Cody, and she's like, "That's fucking Homelander." That's why I don't like Cody Rhodes. He's fucking Homelander, and I'm like.
Oh man, it would be awful if later on in life we found out Cody was a terrible person. I'd be sad.
Oh yeah, it's like he convinced us all he was Superman who just happened to look like Homelander. And it's like, no, he looked and acted like Homelander.
Man, I would hate it, bro. I would hate it. But as far as this time, where we're at right now, it feels like it's the right move. It feels like that they're doing what they're needing to be doing. As far as what Pete said, once again, feel like he's making sense. This is the new season. We're moving into a whole new era. And this is a testament to how fast wrestling moves, because I feel like we just in the last like 10 years, we've switched to eras like so many times. We went from the PG era, then the reality era, now the streaming era, and it's just like it and whatnot. But like, oh, I see him. I see it. I acknowledge it. Yeah, but like we're in that era, and like we're about to jump into a whole other era. And it's like I said on the last episode that I did, like we could definitely see a little bit more of an edgier WWE with them moving to Netflix, and things could be a little bit more different, a little bit more language could be used. Maybe not to the level, let's not go full attitude era, but let's definitely do what we've been doing. We're kind of walking that line and making people question what's real and what's not real, because I think that's what we're supposed to be doing, is making people question what's real and what's not real and what's happening. And I think
Roman's new catchphrase is about to be acknowledge this dick.
What is it?
I said Roman's new catchphrase is about to be acknowledge this dick.
Yo, what if though? Oh man. So like I said, the Royal Rumble, I think the Royal Rumble did what it was supposed to do. I know for a lot of fans, it's just that like they didn't like, there were some things they didn't like. There was some number placement they didn't like. They didn't like the fact that people didn't debut. I think if you was looking for MJF to debut, you was just a little bit too out there. You was reading too much. You was reading way too many reports. I'm just keep it real with you, because that's what we're gonna do with you guys out there in the household. If you guys get like, that's what we got to do. When y'all get a little bit too crazy, we got to reel y'all back in and be like, hey, listen, this is more in the realm of possibility, and y'all just throwing stuff at the wall. And we're here to kind of tie things together and help y'all tie things together and make, a little bit more sense of things and more logic of things. So I don't think there was ever a chance we were going to see MJF in the Royal Rumble. I really don't. But all in all, I think the Royal Rumble did what it was supposed to do. It was a show that's going to get us get us revving up to the road to WrestleMania. We know Bayley has a clear path. We know Cody has a clear path. Roman obviously has a clear path. Now Logan Paul still being the champion has a clear path, you know, and then everybody else that's going to tie into it. What's going to happen and where they're going to tie into. Where's Randy Orton going to come into play? What's LA Knight going to be doing for WrestleMania? You know, AJ Styles, he's still doing great things. What's he going to do going into WrestleMania? What's Bayley going to do? Is she going to actually go up against Io Sky? Is this what we're going to see? What's going to happen? And I think there's so many possibilities as far as this road to WrestleMania. And we're going to see it. Like I said, I know there's some things that some of y'all didn't like, and I get it. But I really think the show did what it was supposed to do and got us to where we needed to go. So that's what I think about it.
All in all, I ain't mad.
Nah. It's a solid. I say it's a solid double. I mean, I give it a solid double. You know, like hell, I'd even say a triple because it did. There was something, like I said, the TNA stuff. It wowed me a little bit, and I got my little moments of like, oh shoot, like I would like. So I say it's a solid triple. You know what I'm saying? It got us to where we needed to go, and it was what it was. P, as a whole, what was you thinking about the show? Any final thoughts?
Like I said earlier, I give the show an A-. Was it an A? Yeah. Was it A+? No. There were some sloppiness and some botches during the Women's Rumble. There were some lulls that went on during the Men's Rumble. It felt like the placement of the two title matches was kind of wonky. But when everything is fine to good to great, you can't be mad at it. Was anything perfect? No. Was anything spectacular legendary? No. And I feel like that perfect, spectacular, legendary is what makes something an A to A+. But because everything was what it needed to be, and then there were some very great and good notes afterwards or mixed throughout there, I give it an A overall.
Right on. I once again, I thought it was a solid episode, and I thought that this was a solid episode of In Your House, and we were happy to give it to you guys. You guys out here gave us some energy out there in the comment section. We do appreciate y'all, all the energy that you guys gave. And of course, this is also going to be the podcast version. We're going to jump it onto Spotify and then, of course, Apple Podcasts. But we're going to slide on out of here. Hype is sliding out of here. He's got other Oh, he's back. He's back. My man back. I'll let you go ahead and slide out of here, bro. Go ahead and let him know anything that you want to let him know, anything that you want to plug, what have you, before you get out of here.
What up, yo? My name is Hypocrisy Jones. You can find me anywhere. You can spell that, like, literally. So just, you know, find me. But the most important place to find me is right here on In Your House or at the Kokomo Press if you want to laugh. So go check me out there, bro. Peace
out, bro. Appreciate you always coming through for the team. And with that being said, of course, we have the world's most dangerous podcaster. Got to give him his respect and his love by giving him an opportunity to let us know anywhere we could find you at, anything that you got moving. Just go ahead and grace us with it, bro.
Okay, well, first and foremost, if you guys are looking for my drip hub, my little brother took it over. So don't.
Yeah, I saw that.
Don't add it. Don't follow it. Don't friend him. Don't talk to him. None of that. Okay. Don't book him on shows. Don't book him against me. I will not wrestle him. Let you know that right now. You can find me this Saturday at Emerge. I'll be defending my Emerge World Heavyweight Championship against Braden Lee because I'm a fighting champion, but I will call out my opponents. If I feel you deserve a shot, I will demand that you and I get to face off face to face because there can only be one. There can't be too many pretenders and contenders. No, we got to prove who is the champion, who is the rightful champion, who is the rightful king sitting on the throne and wearing the crown. So got to take care of that. After that, you can also find me at Frontline Pro, where your boy may or may not be fighting for championship gold or an opportunity for championship gold. Stay tuned. You will see. But all I'm saying is that don't be surprised when you see my gear back getting heavier. And when you start seeing gold around my chain, gold around my rings, gold on my watch, don't believe me, just watch. So things are happening. Things are moving. There's some things I can't talk about just yet until, you know, more irons get put in the fire. Just keep your eyes out. Check my social media, whether it's Paragon Christoph St. James, whether it's Paragon, the fan page, whether it is _Paragon on IG, or if it's the Paragon 23 on X/Twitter, whatever y'all want to call it, or TikTok or Snapchat. Get at me. And remember, world's most dangerous podcaster, world's most dangerous champion, world's most dangerous motherfucker.
That's right. That is right, guys. That is the world's most dangerous podcaster, the world's most dangerous game, Paragon. Always happy to have him come through and grace us with his knowledge and his presence here at In Your House and the energy that he brings. It's always good to have. We love it anytime he comes through and has a great episode. As for me, you guys know I'm going to be here. I'm going to be around, always giving y'all that work when it comes to professional wrestling. And I appreciate y'all. We all appreciate y'all because you guys are the ones, like, I'm looking at this chat here and we're seeing all these comments, and guys, I'm loving it. I'm loving you guys coming through, giving your thoughts, giving your opinions, asking us our thoughts, our opinions. It's always great. It's always great to have people slide through and want to talk wrestling, especially after the Royal Rumble, my personal favorite pay-per-view that I love every single year. So it's great to be able to discuss it with my peoples. Guys, I got some things going on. I've got some irons in the fire as well. Can't really push too much and talk about it, but I just want to let you guys know I'm doing things. I'm out here trying to make plays and do things more to help grow this podcast and help grow my fantastic team of brothers here at In Your House and people who I get a chance to work with in the professional wrestling business. I'm doing a whole lot more, helping more on the production side of helping produce shows and promos and segments for wrestling shows. I am here to help wrestling. I've developed myself as Hollywood Howse, but being in front of the camera is great and I love it. But I feel like my usefulness comes more behind the scenes and what I can do to help flow a wrestling show. And that's what I love to do. And I found a passion for it. Once again, as you guys know, this past week, I was at D6 Wrestling and I got a chance to help out with so many people and help out with promos and help people find who they are. And I found that I've enjoyed that. And I love doing it. It's fun to me. And it's passion. I get a chance to work with the superstars of tomorrow, and that keeps me young. And I like that. It helps me be a part of wrestling in a meaningful way. And also, I get a chance to keep doing what I've been doing for many years, and that's keep producing and putting out content and music and promos and video, rolling video. I love being there, Adobe Premiere, or even if I'm doing stuff on my phone, I love making things just clean and crisp. And I can help your wrestling show and to make it look clean and crisp. So hopefully you guys can consider me for that. That'd be greatly appreciated. But you guys here that listen to this podcast, you guys are greatly appreciated because the reason that I'm here where I'm at right now is because of you guys. We're about to pull up on 300 episodes in 5 years. I just wanted to take this little opportunity to thank you guys, and we'll definitely get more into it on the 300th episode when I have my great team here. And who knows who you might catch giving us a shout out on the podcast. So just check that out as 300 comes up. Until then, we're going to slide on out of here, and I'll let you guys know where you can find me at. That's at The Hollywood Howse on IG. That's Hollywood Howse. That is on Facebook and on Twitter. And also at this right here, this podcast at In Your House. And that's HOWSE. And the W stands for work. So guys, I really appreciate y'all sliding through. Of course, you already know, follow us. Give us those 5 stars, give us that energy, and let a friend know to hop on this bandwagon. Get on or get gone, because the household is still going mighty strong. You guys have a great day and a great rest of your week. Peace.